presumed dead. We have an update in our lead report.
And President Trump threatens to cut off aid to Central American countries as a Honduran caravan reaches the U.S. border.
The Mega Millions jackpot is soaring to record-breaking heights. We talked to some locals about how they would spend the money if they won.
With the weekend coming up, we'll have all the weekend weather for you. Newscene starts right now.
Welcome to this week's episode of Newscene. I'm Marissa Gonzalez.
And I am Kenyatta Rigmaiden.
Now in breaking news, we've learned that a private plane made an emergency landing on the I-8 in El Cajon near 2nd Street. According to KUSI, the plane was headed to Gillespie Field but lost power. As of right now, we don't know if there are any injuries, but we will tell you what we learn.
And a missing journalist in Turkey has tensions rising between some nations. Juan Gomez has more on the story in the lead report.
Thank you, guys. It has been over 2 weeks since the disappearance of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and according to reports, he may be dead. The journalist traveled to Turkey where he entered the Saudi consulate only to find out that he never came out. Speculations and reports have sparked questions about the whereabouts of Jamal Khashoggi. Turkish officials claimed that the journalist was likely killed in an assault and struggle in an interrogation that was held inside the council. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo traveled to Saudi Arabia to meet with the Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He would later travel to Istanbul, where he met the Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. In both meetings, Pompeo discussed the situation in regards of Jamal's fate. President Trump was asked on the weekend how the situation was being handled in regards of the whereabouts of the Washington Post journalist.
He talked to me about the incident. He told me that they were conducting their own investigation.
Important ally, but I want to find out what happened, where is the fault, and we will probably know that by the end of the week. But Mike Pompeo is coming back. We're going to have a long talk.
Then on Thursday, Pompeo came back to the U.S. and spoke to the media about what the Turkish president had to say.
He talked to me about the incident. He told me that they were conducting their own investigation. We had a chance to meet with some of the team involved with that. He assured me that they would share their results with the Saudis as well.
Yet, according to an audio recording by a Turkish officials, Khashoggi was dead within hours of arriving and was beheaded and dismembered. Now, in regards to believing or not what Saudi Arabia will come up with the investigation of their own, Senator Chris Van Hollen had this to say.
The Saudis said they knew nothing about what had happened at the consulate in Istanbul. In fact, they had said that Mr. Khashoggi had actually left the consulate when they knew full well what had happened to him. And so to say to the Saudis, okay, you do an investigation when they've already proven themselves to be untrustworthy on this issue makes no sense.
For now, this is all the information we have in the case that has yet to be solved. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Juan. Now, in less than a year, a second caravan of Central American immigrants is making its way to the U.S. border. Honduran migrants are trekking their way to the Mexican border with hopes of reaching the United States to seek asylum, many fleeing violence and searching for greater economic opportunity. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is headed to Mexico City with the message, quote, "Stop them before they reach the U.S. border." President Trump has threatened to cut off aid to the Central American countries, send U.S. military, and close down the southwest border.
Crimea is in shock from a deadly attack at a polytechnic college that has claimed the lives of 15 teenagers, 5 teachers, and wounding over 50 more. A lone 18-year-old set off a nail bomb in the school as he was attending school. The nail bomb ripped through the school's cafeteria, injuring many. The assailant entered the school and started shooting until he turned the firearm on himself. The attacker's motives are still unknown, but investigators are calling it a mass murder. As the investigation continues, the Crimean leader has announced there will be 3 days of mourning.
And for the first time, a woman is leading the largest command in the U.S. Army. Lieutenant General Laura J. Richardson is now commanding the United States Army Forces Command, which is headquartered at Fort Bragg. This may be a first for the Army, but Richardson has had other firsts. Lieutenant General Richardson has been with the U.S. Army since 1986, and in 2012, she became the first female deputy commanding general for the 1st Cavalry Division, known as America's First Team.
Canada has officially become the second country to fully legalize recreational marijuana. With lines wrapping around street corners, the legalization has been found to be incredibly profitable on its first day. In Quebec alone, there were over 40,000 total transactions on the first day. This is a step towards Canada's national experiment of how legalization will affect the economy.
Eating cookies with a familiar taste has now taken a twisted turn at Da Vinci High School in Davis. Several students allegedly used cremated human remains to bake homemade cookies, then handed them out to classmates. This is what Lieutenant Davis had to say about the matter.
Not heard of anybody getting sick or anybody being harmed as far as physically or physiologically by this. Because of the fact that this is so unconventional, would take more research.
The human ash-filled sugar cookies were passed out on campus to at least 9 students. Davis police are investigating how the morbid mix got into cookie dough.
Beware when buying chicken. A new salmonella outbreak has been issued. 92 people have gotten sick around the country. Some have been hospitalized, and the strain of salmonella is resistant to normal antibiotics used. The CDC has not been able to narrow down a particular brand that is causing the outbreak. Experts say to make sure you are cooking your chicken thoroughly to kill any bacteria.
A rare polio-like disease that causes paralysis is affecting children across the country. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has said that 127 cases are under investigation. More than 90% of cases are in patients 18 years of age or younger, with an average age being 4 years old. The CDC says this disease could have several possible causes that could be environmental, genetic, or viral. It's important to note the illness is rare, but prevention techniques are still encouraged.
The Trump administration is moving to raise postage rates for foreign companies that ship packages to the United States. Some countries, including China, currently benefit from cheaper postal rates set up by the Universal Postal Union. The move comes as the Trump administration is pressuring China to change trade practices that the U.S. officials and businesses claim are unfair.
A YouTube glitch caused a worldwide blackout on YouTube this week. The entertainment website went down Tuesday night for 2 hours. In the wake of YouTube's crash, it left many users realizing about how much we all spend on YouTube. YouTube has not yet revealed what happened about the outage.
Prisons are getting even more crowded. Find out the risks that are coming with the housing of the inmates.
And Harvard University is under a microscope in the wake of a discrimination lawsuit. Keep watching to find out more.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers. Pinkies.
Take time to be a dad today.
The federal government's low-security correctional institutions are getting overloaded. Currently, the facilities are operating with modifications. The population is expected to increase even more, resulting in more security risks. Relocating the inmates to other prisons would be too expensive and more difficult to manage. Federal maximum security institutions are overcrowded by 24%.
Harvard University is under fire following a racial discrimination lawsuit. The admissions office is being accused of holding weight on race when it comes to being accepted. In particular, Asian Americans feel their race is setting a higher bar for them. Additionally, the university is accused of setting a cap on the number of Asian Americans admitted.
Not against that. Someone should not be providing their racial information, but how is that going to be used is a big question.
Other Asian Americans are more divided, saying they feel they are being exploited as a way to abolish affirmative action. Harvard has denied the allegation, saying race is something admissions considers, but in a positive way. The Justice Department has came out to support the group bringing about the lawsuit. Former Congresswoman Mary Bono stepped down as interim CEO of USA Gymnastics.
And now for more entertainment, here's Akira Delgadillo.
Hello, thank you both at the desk. It only took about 40 years for a sequel, but Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are back at it again. Halloween starring Jamie Lee Curtis is the 11th installment of the franchise, but the direct sequel from the 1978 film directed by John Carpenter. Universal expects the film to be a huge success. This slasher is projected to gross $50 million this opening weekend. Here's a couple of words from Jamie Lee Curtis on Laurie's return to the big screen.
She has spent her life trying to prepare and protect her family. Nothing else could get in her way. And in that singular purpose, that perseverating on that point, she lost everything.
The boogeyman, all this hiding, all this preparation, it was for nothing. I mean, it took priority over your family. It cost you your family.
And from slashers to love story, it seems like just yesterday we were living the fairy tale wedding between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Well, we sure did. And what happens after marriage? If you guess a tour down under in Sydney, Australia, then you are correct. The couple has been having fun and attending business matters. They have been tasting the Aussie cuisine and attending events on the shoreline with community organizations for local causes. And yes, if you guessed baby comes after marriage, you are correct. Prince Harry took the time to thank the Australian people and to make his huge announcement. Let's take a look.
Thank you for the incredibly warm welcome and the chance to meet so many Aussies from all walks of life. And we also generally couldn't think of a better place to announce the upcoming baby, be it a boy or a girl. So thank you very, very much.
And from babies to the Super Bowl, Rihanna reportedly turned down the Super Bowl halftime show in support of former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick. The Entertainment Tonight reported that she was a contender for the show. She decided to pass on the opportunity due to the NFL and the situation regarding players kneeling during the national anthem. This is something that Kaepernick started in 2016 and with the controversial Nike ad this year. Super Bowl is set for February 2nd of next year at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. From Atlanta to here in Hollywood, yes, the rumors are true. Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson have called it quits. The couple broke up after a very emotionally intense and tattoo-filled 5-month engagement. This comes after the death of Ariana's ex-boyfriend, Mac Miller, which reportedly took a toll on the young couple. For now, it is said that she's focusing on her music to cope with this breakup. The couple is known to be unpredictable, and a reconciliation between the two would not be shocking. However, her family is concerned for her mental health as she is dealing with this recent split, the recent death of Mac Miller, and recovering from the post-traumatic stress disorder from the 2017 Manchester City bombing during her concert. Our best wishes to Ariana. And from Hollywood here to San Diego, for all of you excited for the Halloween spirit, there are tons of activities here at home. We have events for the family and for everyone. The Legoland Brick or Treat, the SeaWorld Spooktacular, and the Balboa Park Halloween Family Day. And for teenagers, we have the Haunted Trails, and for those of you who are 21 and over, the Monster Bash in downtown. There are events all over the city for all ages, so be sure to have safe and have fun this upcoming Halloween. That's all I have for entertainment, and I'm back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Akira. And if you're staying in a Westin hotel and wondering why your towels haven't been replaced yet, stay tuned to find out.
And a former NFL player will stand trial on charges for an incident back in 2003. We have more coming up after the break.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
We're cutting styrofoam.
106 Weston employees are outraged and currently protesting in San Diego. For the past 2 weeks, protesters have rallied together from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. to get their message across. They say all they want is better pay and fair distribution of work.
We're striking Marriott to get better benefits, better wages, because the struggles are family, and then we want to have less rooms because each of us, we have 15 rooms to clean. So we have different floors sometimes, and we want to minimize the rooms to put it to 14 and to have better wages.
Employees in New York and San Francisco are also protesting for fair wages and job equity.
Former NFL player Kellen Winslow Jr. is accused of raping or attempting to rape at least 4 different women the ages of 50 and over a 3-month time span, according to court documents. Winslow was first arrested on June 7th in Encinitas after a burglary charge at a senior citizen community center, and now he's on his way to trial. He is also charged with felony charges of rape of an unconscious woman in connection with an incident in 2003 when he was 19 years old, and he was accused of raping a 17-year-old girl. We'll have more information on you in the upcoming weeks.
Have you ever seen people practicing circus at OB? Edgar Yukovich has more with the story.
The Ocean Beach Jam is a free event where performers come together every Wednesday evening to practice various circus arts.
It's a really vibrant community, and everyone's really welcoming and very nurturing to your creative endeavors, so I decided to make it a home.
Acrobats, slackliners, and fire dancers learn and work on their skills right in front of the public.
Gather people with different skills and different backgrounds, and then be able to interact with them and learn from them without having to commit to pay to go to a place, like listening to music at the same time. It's just like a festival where you can go every week and have a lot of fun.
And, in case you're wondering, they are open to allowing members of the public to join in with them.
A lot of people don't even think they could do acro yoga, but they'd be surprised. You get on someone's feet and you can do things that you'd never imagine. And why not try something new today? You're never too old to learn something new and awesome.
Practicing in OB isn't without downsides. While filming this segment, we witnessed the cops breaking up an altercation.
Some homeless hecklers sometimes, and occasionally if you're out a little bit too late, it feels a little bit dangerous when you're walking alone as a woman. But other than that, I feel pretty safe.
Reporting for Newscene, this is Edgar Yutkevich.
That report that looks like something fun to try after classes on Wednesdays.
On October 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we will have the National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, where you can return unused prescription medication so it won't end up being misused. According to the 2016 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, 6.2 million Americans misuse controlled prescription drugs. The study shows that a majority of abused prescription drugs were obtained from family and friends, and many times from the home medicine cabinet. Well, it's time for sports now, and our very own Jeffrey Villegas has a scoop on the NFL blowouts to the NBA season starting and the World Series. What can we expect, Jeff?
Well, there's actually a lot going on in the sports world, so let's jump into the sports zone. Now, Thursday was not your ordinary day for sports. This Thursday marked what we say in the athletics world the sports equinox, because 4 major U.S. leagues had games in the same day. Von Miller and the Broncos actually head to the desert for a prime-time matchup with Josh Rosen and the Cardinals. The Broncos defense wasted no time picking off Josh Rosen and returning it for a touchdown. The Broncos jumped out to a 14-0 lead in less than 7 minutes, which then grew into a 28-3 lead in less than 16 minutes with this deep bomb to Sanders. Now, that's a Hail Mary full of grace if you ask me. That eventually roller coasted to a dominant 45-10 blowout that halted their losing streak at 4 games, improving their record to 3-4. Now, adding insult to injury, the Cardinals fire offensive coordinator Mike McCoy less than 12 hours after their loss to that. Now we're going to go ahead and go to basically baseball, where the Houston Texans have the Boston Red Sox, where the pitcher just pitched about 6 scoreless innings, while Rafael Devers gets the game-winning 3-run homer. Now, the LA Dodgers is trying to eliminate Milwaukee Brewers tonight. We'll see what happens there. Now, meanwhile, in Portland, LeBron James is officially a Los Angeles Laker. So this LeBron era has now begun, and they open up the season facing a team that has beaten Lakers 15 consecutive times. Bron, as you see him right there, just warming up. I mean, he looks good, doesn't he? Look, a true Laker, a true Laker. Now, he doesn't waste any time as he steals an inbound from the Trailblazers and posterizes as his first score. What do we call that right there? We actually call that green eggs and yam, and King James isn't really even finished yet, as he yams again, proving that he's unstoppable in the paint. I mean, is there anybody else that plays for the Lakers right now? Come on. But even though LBJ almost had a triple-double with 26 points and 12 rebounds, the Trailblazers prevailed, 128-119. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited to see how the Lakers match up with this stacked Western Conference. And that's all I have for sports. I'm Jeff Villegas. Back to you guys.
And stay tuned for more on this pre-Halloween weekend weather.
And the winner of the Mega Millions jackpot could be crowned today. Find out how locals would spend the money if they won after the break.
And she is my very best friend. I couldn't live alone without her. I spend a lot of time in my backyard. I feed the birds and the bees. I love my flowers. The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent, thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. I love them. They're my savior. And I look forward to volunteers because they've all become my friends. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
And now here's Edgar with the local and the national weather.
Thank you. The death toll from Hurricane Michael continues to rise. The death toll from the Category 4 storm is currently at 35, but many people are still missing and might be buried under the piles of debris, which you see. The water levels are still high and many parts are flooded. Some 160,000 people are left without cell phone reception. Many thousands are still without food and drinkable water. Several schools are too damaged to reopen until next month. The total damage caused by the hurricane may take years to recover from. To add to the destruction which Florida has already seen, there is a red tide, meaning a tide of red toxic algae headed towards it. The red algae kills marine life and is harmful to humans by taking oxygen out of the water. Earlier this month, there were hopes that Hurricane Michael would break up the red tide. However, once the hurricane was gone, the red tide continued. Tens of thousands of fish killed by the red tide washed up on Florida's beaches, and humans suffer from skin irritation, eye burning, and breathing problems. Many of Florida's beaches closed down as a result. The state of Florida allocated $13 million to combat the tide. Meanwhile, in San Diego County, there is currently a red flag fire weather warning. That is the highest level of fire warning which the National Weather Service allocates. The mix of strong Santa Ana winds coming from inland and hot weather raises the possibility of wildfires. California officials urge strong caution against burning things outdoors or even mowing the lawn after 10 a.m. because such things are known to start fires. The red flag warning is set to be in place until 10 p.m. today. Now over to the national forecast. Let me step out of your way so you can see the map. So, as you can see, there is going to be high weather in Miami. However, they are suffering from the aftereffects of the hurricane. There are going to be it's going to be low 60s and upper 50s in the North England region. That wraps up the weather for this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Now, people all over the U.S. are crossing their fingers for a chance to win $1 billion. Here in downtown San Diego, we found people of all ages buying tickets and dreaming about what they could do with the money if they won. This lottery drawing is the second largest in U.S. lottery history.
At least half of it, I would invest into some good stocks and can donate some money to charities, things of that nature, whether it's Cancer Foundation or, what is it? This, that, and the third, something good, close and near and dear to my heart. That's what I would do.
If I won the lottery, I would go travel and I'd buy my mom a house.
Pay for college. Pay for like my bills and buy a house maybe.
Tonight at 8 p.m. and ticket sales stop at 7 p.m. I don't know about you, but I would love to be able to buy myself a house after winning the lottery. I would love to be able to buy myself some cars. What would you get?
Okay, a lot of stuff, but I just have news that Saudi Arabia has just confirmed that the reporter Jamal Khashoggi is confirmed to be dead. Sad news. And now we're going to have more to update you on all the information concerning the Khashoggi affair. And what do you think about that?
I mean, I think we'll definitely keep you updated as the story continues to develop, but it's one of those things that you hear about in different countries, and it's just so scary and just so, devastating how these things happen. And, obviously you and I are journalists, we're sitting here, so it's something that we sort of take personally, not that it wouldn't be sad in itself, but, it kind of, for me at least, it hits close to home and it's really sad. But that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Newscene.
Well, thanks for having us, and make sure you keep viewing us here on Newscene. Have a good one, folks.
Thanks for